And we are back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Hot This Wei Show. It's your boy Zeus here with you. And as always, you'll see right down over there, Miss Rebecca Nishi coming at us straight out of Brazil. How you doing, Rebecca?
Fine. It's
Awesome.
good.
Good to see you as well. And Matt Chua. Matt, how you doing? Welcome back, brother.
I'm back, bitches. Hey!
Just like that. And we have the utmost honor of having with us Mrs. O'Hara herself, Emily Child. Joining us from South
Hey!
Africa. How are you?
Very good to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much for being here. It's great to have you on the show. And Emily, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where people can find you?
I'm South African. I was born in Joburg, and now I live in Cape Town. I've been here about 15 years. You can find me in Cape Town, staring out the window, climbing a mountain, trying to cook and sailing. I've been an actor for about 15, 16 years. Actually, maybe even closer to 20 now. And it's what I do and it's what I love. And it's so good that the industry is starting to fight back again now after COVID. There's a bit of work going on again, which is amazing.
So what has that been like for you as an actor trying to deal with, COVID and not being able to go on set, now going on set and having to deal with COVID testing in and out every day? What's the change been like for you?
It's wild. I have so much respect for every member of crew and people in production and everyone like who is doing the cleaning and the managing. It's so good to be back, but it's made scheduling so much trickier. Because now for every one shoot day one human has, you've got to have 2 tests before you shoot. So it's like scheduling 3 days for one. It's been wild, but it's such a relief. Like it was very tough, and everyone was very obviously everywhere down here, and we live for our jobs. And Cape Town has a very small but very passionate acting community, and so it's just really good to be back. And we all know each other now, and we see each other on set, and it's just a joy.
Oh, that's fantastic. So tell us a little bit about your character on Warrior and what it was like, what it's like being a part of the show. Fingers crossed that we may get a season 3 for.
Oh, I had the best time. Like it's crazy. It's a very rare experience, I think, where you very honestly experience a family vibe on set. The cast, the crew, there was no ego, like zero ego, just passion and commitment. And we had so much fun. And even in all the serious scenes and when things get very heavy, there's so much laughter always and just love for the job. So playing Lucy was an absolute, it was brilliant. And I got to hang out with the coolest kids. Our children were hilarious and naughty and so sweet.
Right.
And Kieran obviously is amazing. Like he's just the greatest dude, and we got on so well. And the majority of my scenes are with him and Tom, and we all just, we were such great mates. And then these adorable, hilarious little people. Yeah, it was really fun.
And you and Robert, like you and Bill, obviously have this great chemistry. But you and Officer Lee even have this. I don't know what that chemistry is there. It's almost like a sister and brother, like the really really tight. How are you two off screen? Like, did you build up a rapport there as well?
Yeah, we're very good friends. We like good drinking buddies.
Hey!
We're naughty, Tom and I. It's fun. Because obviously they're in the time off. Then what do? You hang out, you watch the movies, you drink some wine, you talk some shit. Yeah, so I think it is kind of a genuine chemistry of friendship that we now have. And same with Kieran, like we're still in contact, which is so nice. And that doesn't happen often, with projects that you actually stay in touch, especially when people live other side of the world.
Yeah, and
So
we mention
very
this almost every week or anytime we have one of the actors on with us. This is that show where you've been done filming for what, 2 years, 3 years almost now, and everybody is still interacting with each other. I'm seeing photos with the gang together. You guys interacting with each other on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
It's really great and something you don't see too often.
You really
Now,
don't, yeah.
now tell us, what was your mindset when you get this role? of Lucy. What are you thinking? Like, what is her motivation? I guess.
I think, the first thing I did was just really take special note of all the moms around me. I'm not a mom. I'm a proud aunt, but I think there's a connection to your children, obviously, that I couldn't immediately relate to. And I just started like really trying to understand the feistiness and the fierceness that mothers have and women have. And it was amazing and quite inspiring to really like see, just that passion and like just the fierceness, I guess. So I suppose I tried to sort of emulate them in everything that I did with Lucy, because for her it's family first, it's children first. She loves Bill, but the babies come before Bill. The babies come before anything, no matter what. I think priority is those kids. And I mean, back then to push that many out, like without the kind of
Right.
medical care and stuff that we have now, just to get through that is pretty amazing to me. Like,
Exactly.
so I try to just be inspired by moms and talk a lot to my friends who are moms about like actually what that feels like when your kid's in trouble, or like when you can't sleep, and how that. And then I tried to sort of put that into Lucy somehow.
Nice. Rebecca?
Yeah, it's quite a lot of kids, right? Like also Lee said, you really play back and forth before breakfast.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the joke?
That first scene, it was madness. It was the first day on set with the kids. And it was so much fun, but it was hot and sweaty in the house, and they were just screaming and running, and like Kieran and I were just sweating and panicking and trying to make sure the babies didn't cry. And so that whatever you saw in that scene is real panic from like managing.
So fun.
Go ahead, Rebecca.
Oh, you were talking about the chemistry between you and Tom. For me, I think the writers sometimes put some mystery in our heads, like leave you thinking about some things. For example, we couldn't tell if Officer Lee was straight or a gay, you know. Lucy asked him if he had someone in Georgia waiting for him, and he said no. He was quite short, quite in his own shell, but the greatest person, very sweet, very polite, and etc. And I thought for some time, I don't know if you had the same impression, that Lucy was like, would make a pass on him or something. Complimenting him all the time, like how beautiful, how handsome he was, and all that.
Rebecca, stir the pot
Hey.
Look, if I'm completely honest, I chose a little bit in the beginning to play it like in between, to kind of maybe leave an openness for the audience, like a tiny bit. I obviously couldn't overdo it because Lucy's loyalty is to Belle, but it was obviously not based in truth necessarily. But I thought it was, in that first scene, I thought it was kind of fun to just play with a little bit, just so that you don't know, because you don't know Lucy in the beginning. You know, when you first meet her, you don't know what she's capable of and where her loyalties lie. So I played with it a little bit in the beginning. Come on. But yeah, just for fun. But yeah, I've had a few people have said that to me before. Actually, they're like, so what's going on there? What's happening with that friendship?
So let's we're going to get into this actual episode here and kind of review everything. Now, Emily, I know a lot of actors and actresses will be in a project and not actually watch the show or the project themselves. Are you one of those actors, or have you watched Through Warrior?
I have watched it. I do the thing where I watch and then I skim my scenes and then I watch because I want to see all the other stuff, but I find it quite hard to watch myself. So I watch and skip and watch and skip, kind of. But yeah, I have watched.
All right. Well, we will be your guide through episode 6 here as well, Emily.
Okay.
And we'll put your memory to the test as well on our journey here.
This is good.
Now, this episode starts off, on quite the bloody note. We think it's a bit of a celebration. We see this parade, this celebration for Father June. But as Officer Lee and Officer O'Hara are both on scene patrolling, Officer Lee notices someone kind of going through the crowd there who lets off, let's say, dynamite. It looks like a quarter stick of dynamite underneath, Father June's platform. This results in a huge explosion. The result of that, just for a reminder, folks, this is kind of what the scene happened afterwards. And so that's just a little bit of the aftermath. When you actually watch that scene and they show everything, this is a very graphic show for one. They don't hold back too often at all. But this scene here, Matt, what are you thinking after this big explosion? And we see young June cradling Father June there, and none of us know at this point. For myself, I thought Perry was dead. I thought we had already lost Perry.
Mm-hmm. So, on a joke note, I thought Emily's movie hubby was looking super stoic in the slow-mo ashes thing, looking like,
right?
Yeah, I'm in this shit. Yeah, I'm about to save some lives. Yeah, but no. On a real note, though, what do you call it? I was wondering the same thing, like, oh shit, did they just get rid of Father June just like that? Like, no hype to it, no build up, no nothing, like, bow, that's it. But thankfully enough, that wasn't really the case. But yeah, man, it was kind of like, oh shit, we're starting off like this already. Okay, you got my attention now. Let's see what's happening.
And there we go, talking about stunts. We've got stunt coordinator extraordinaire.
Hey,
Brett.
What's going on, Brett?
Thanks for the love, my friend, and thank you for so many great scenes that you put out here. Now, Emily, you get your action in season 2. Before that, though, when you're seeing all this stuff that's happening in the show, are you just chomping at the bit, hoping for your moment? Like, come on, let's get Lucy some action here. Let me kill somebody.
100%. I was so jealous. I was like, oh, come on. And I'd go and sneak by the stunts area where they were all like training and stuff, and everyone doing all this hardcore shit. And I was like, oh, man.
I'm trying to whoop that ass. I'm trying to whoop this ass.
Yeah, I was very jealous because they're amazing. I mean, the stunt team's just like incredible, and everyone's so kind and wonderful and warm. But yeah, very jealous. I'm very happy in the end when I got to try it on.
Gabrielle says, I thought they did him dirty too, but no. And William Gillies, hello, how's it going, buddy? I'm sorry for butchering your name.
Hi, Will.
You're not really a part of this show unless I've butchered your name at least once. So
big facts.
Straight facts, Matt Chua.
You butchered my name multiple times.
How do you even get Chow from Chua? You'd
be surprised. Mad telemarketers back in the day would be like, hello, is Mr. Chow there? I'm like, yo, how do you flip my last 2 letters on purpose?
Right.
Why do you do that?
I think it's something just in your brain that just flips it to try to make sense of it if you don't know it, right? Like Chow would be AU, right?
Yeah. That pronunciation is AU, not UA. I'm just like, yo, it's so easy. It's phonetically Chua.
Well, there was no mistaking the response that the Hop Way had after this. Thankfully, as we saw, Father June was saved because of basically a last-second young June screaming out to Bolo to save him, right? And Bolo did that, just tossed him off and kind of covered him with his body. And the best thing that happens after that is like, all right, we're going to fight. Like, we are in this to fight now. And I wasn't sure everybody was going to be on board, but hey.
Proof of something. This is young June's call. He wants us to scrap. We scrap. Damn right, we scrap.
You see shit like that, and you're like, oh damn, it's on.
That music. That music set the tone, boy. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, yeah, let's
Exactly.
fucking fuck shit up.
Oh, they just look so cool. I was like, handsome, hardcore. Oh, they're amazing.
And in our body,
Yeah.
direct in our body, which is just that is the way. That is the way. I'm telling you right.
That is Bruce Lee way.
That
Bruce
is
Lee
the
way.
hop way. Hey,
Now you know where we're going.
hey.
All right.
I stole your dad joke.
Brett Chan, what's up, my brother? So this episode, and we talked about that, and Chewy, you nailed it right there. The music, just a dun 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 dun, starting to get you going, and then I'm not sure who directed this episode, but just the close-ups they got and the cut shots to each and every member of the trio there was just phenomenal, and it got your heart going and got you into this. Like we mentioned it from week to week that this show doesn't have a weak link in it. We've yet to find weak storytelling, weak directing, weak acting, weak stunt choreography. This show has it all. Music, the music,
so good.
Also good.
It's amazing. And as an actress for yourself, Emily, what is it like being a part of something like this? And to kind of follow up on that, do you get to the point where you're like screaming at the top of your lungs, like, why is nobody else seeing what we're seeing here?
Yeah, I must say it's quite overwhelming. And like, there's just this, like working on set and stuff, there's a sense of awe. It's like just being in Wonderland. You see people doing these things. You kind of don't believe it's happening until afterwards. And when it's done, you realize, oh my God, that's what we did. And then watching the show, it's like, holy shit, I remember seeing them rehearse for that. Like, oh my God, I remember that happening. I walked past that on the way to my scene that day. Like, it's quite, you just feel like the luckiest person in the world. It's like, yeah, being in total wonderland. You just get to play and see, like, just the set, even like just walking around. It's just completely surreal. Like, how is this my job? How?
It's cool. Life, right? And Brett has highs for everybody. Hi, Emily. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
And hi, Matt.
What's going on?
What's going on, indeed? So
I got a question really quick for
go
Emily. So when, obviously being on set and seeing everything, as they're actually shooting it, so you get a nice behind the scenes look, and then, you watch it when it all airs. Do you have like this like idea and vision of what it could look like? And then when you actually see it on TV, it's just like, oh shit, that is not what I envisioned. That looks fantastic. Or I can't believe they actually made it look like that. Like, does it always meet your imagination of what the scene is?
It always surpasses my expectations. I must be honest, especially with this, like, you think, oh, it's amazing when you're there and you see it and you can't believe what this amount of people can do together, the focus to make these things happen. Mm-hmm. But every time I watch, it's more exciting. Like, it's heightened then to another level. It's like the second level of wonder about the whole thing. Like, it's crazy. I must say, I've never been disappointed or thought, oh, like I thought they'd add that or that. It's just like so much more exciting than I even thought possible. It's like magician. It's like magic. I'm like, wow. It is magic to me. I still like don't know how people do it. It's like
I feel you. I feel you.
Well, so we seen some major action happen after this, of course. Young June, I know these are some dark pictures. I'm sorry, but it's the way it's filmed, all right? But we see the Trinity right here. I think these are three of the baddest motherfuckers on this show. And I'm so sad that I don't want to spoil it for anybody who's watching these in succession with us, but, we don't keep Bolo along very long.
If you watched episode 4...
You know that. Yeah. If you watched episode 4 of
our show,
with Richie, he doesn't make it out. But what a damn good trinity of fighters right there. But they go to the Feng Hai and they just tear the shit up there. And I mean, tear the shit up. It's probably good that a lot of these are dark because you don't want to see a lot of these. But it was so intense, that scene. And I think it finishes the best possible way with our man, Rich.
just a natural head crush. No big deal.
That's just it,
But
you know.
he showed a lot of his taekwondo as well. A lot of kicks, side kicks, very good ones.
Yeah.
And he's just so cool while he does it. So suave. They're all so like, I wish
In a
everyone could dress
suit.
like that every day. Yeah,
In
yeah.
Armani suit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ronnie's cute, which is like the most mind-boggling thing as well. Because I'm sure if your wardrobe every day you're fixing like some kind of pant rips. Because if you're throwing off those many kicks, I'm telling you, I'd be ripping the shit out of my ass in the pant all the time.
Just
I had to
both.
verify. I had to just
Yeah.
verify what I meant there. So, now, so they totally take out the Feng Hai. They drop off a body right in front of Long Zi. And this does not go over well with Mai Ling's husband, of course. They set up a meeting with Father June, and the two of them discuss things, and they kind of smooth things over. And young June's like, yo, like, listen, why aren't we killing these guys? And Father June's like, I don't have to. He's dead already. Because he realizes at this point, Mai Ling is in charge. Now, we talk about this amongst us all the time. Emily, I'd love to get your view on this as well. This show has got some of the strongest female characters of any show. And when I say strong, I don't just mean like they're in your face or, they're good with kicking and stuff. I mean, they are legit players. What is it like being on set with writers that are writing towards this and being amongst all these other big badass women, yourself included?
It's, you know what, it just feels like you can relax somehow because you can like settle into what we've wanted for so long, and what you want in shows. And as an actor, a female actor, like you want writers to do this, and it's just the most wonderful relief to experience that kind of openness and that power of women. And I think in this context, it's also fascinating because they're not always good, powerful. They can be cunning and manipulative and dangerous, which often men are shown, like in series. But it's exciting, I think, these women, because it's not just the good side of womanhood. It's it's the bad and the naughty and the ugly and it's so complex. I just think it's written so beautifully in that way, the complexity of these powerful ladies.
In that episode, before this fight you just saw, Assam and Penny are having their meeting. And
Their meeting.
They're making paint. They're making paintings.
Very elegantly expressed, yes.
But Assam was telling about Mai Ling to Penny, saying that she saved him, and he didn't realize that she was the one who had to be saved because she married the old man to save him. And Penny just told him, you do this, women, we save ourselves.
Yeah, I love that line.
Yeah.
That was an ill line.
Yeah.
A real good line.
We can see between Bill and Lucy, the relationship. You have small things during the days that shows how the woman works with the man together. It's not, for society, he can be the man of the house and etc. But during the days, it's like, a couple arrangement that makes things going through.
Yeah, I think Lucy very much runs that house and and manages Bill to an extent.
Absolutely.
She takes Bill by the ear,
yeah.
No, she definitely runs that household, and she definitely, you can really see it in season 2. She definitely grabs that household by the balls and is like, "This is mine."
Yeah.
You see a lot
and it's her babies. She's like a lioness with her cubs, man. Like, don't fuck with my babies. Like,
Big facts. Hey, look at that. Look at that face right there. Look at that face right there.
That is a mama lion.
That is almost fuck your shit up face.
And I love how Bill is scared. He's scared of her.
Yeah.
She really scares him. Here,
yeah,
when she talks, he's like, "All right, ma'am."
I'm not sure. Well, everybody else can hear us. Maybe Maybe it's on your end.
Who can't you hear? That's the key.
Can you hear all of us, or just
Is it?
one of us you can't hear? No, all of we
I
can
can
all
hold
hear
my
each other.
thing closer.
No, we
Yeah,
can.
we can hear each other just fine.
Yeah, so
Hello,
we can probably on his end.
hello,
Because Brett could
hello.
hear us earlier, right? So, anyways, and so did Gabrielle when we were talking, or Gabriel when we were talking about Father June dying. So, that being said, all the badass women out there, there are some just bad people on this show. The
Exactly.
people that I like to refer to as the D-bag crowd. And the douchebag crowd consists of course, Buckley and
Fuck him.
the mayor. And
Fuck him
here's just
too.
a quick little scene for those at home that don't know who I'm talking about from this episode that'll give you a little glimpse into how douchebaggery these two are.
I assure you, what happened yesterday was an isolated incident.
Prostitution, opium, gang wars, the murder of 2 Irishmen whose killer walks free, and now they're setting off dynamite in public squares. I hear there were some legitimate citizens hurt in the blast.
1 fatality, sir. There were 3 more injured.
A tragedy, we can all agree. And they will pay for it.
Yeah. So there was like legitimate people were hurt as well.
Notice
Because
in my
the
voice
Chinese
how much
meant
I
nothing,
don't
obviously,
care.
at that point. Yeah. Crazy. They even showed this afterwards. This show knows how to trigger. It knows how to get you angry. It knows how to get you happy, of course, and get you excited. But it knows how to touch on all these issues that we're still going through today, which is mind-boggling to me. But it does it without being preachy, just by saying, "Hey, look, this is what happened," or "This is what we deal with still today," and you can see it through the machinations of yesteryear, sort of. Absolutely crazy. When you're on set, Emily, and you even before your first day, and you've read the script, what are you kind of taking away from this? The Asian representation that they were going for, and just the overall feel of the show and how it was going to be different from others.
I think that's the key. When I read it, it just stood out as something I'd never read before. Like, I had never read about that area of history. I didn't know much about it, to be honest. I didn't learn it at school. Like, I didn't understand like how it worked, and the Tong was an opium trade, and it just stood out as unique. Like, and the relationships and between the different Tongs and the dynamics. And like the evil of the government in a way at the time, but as you said, but not in a preachy way. I found it hugely refreshing and quite terrifying. And as you say, what the most terrifying thing is that we recognize so many of these issues now, which is why I think a season 3 would be very important, because it's just crazy to think that it's, if it's standing there right in front of us, the more people to watch it, maybe people would finally recognize or see issues they maybe hadn't thought of before through a show. I found it shocking and very exciting that finally this was happening. Like, it's time. Like, it's about time, for fuck's sake.
Right.
How has nothing been written about this before? And I don't know. Yeah, I learned a lot, and it was scary and so interesting reading about the time and like just trying to get my head around it. To be honest, like,
No, Bill's a little. I want to say, I don't want to say racist, but I want to say racist as well. We'll say there's more prejudice in him than racism.
Yeah.
But Lucy hasn't really shown any signs of that. What do you think Lucy's kind of stance is, especially given the time, the Irish heritage, and just given Bill's job and the results that have happened upon your family because of it?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, having read about that time, I would imagine Lucy is also secretly a little bit prejudiced because she didn't understand. Like, there was no real knowledge about different communities. And I would imagine she thought that it would have been a threat to her family just because of her husband's work, and any threat to her husband is a threat to her baby. So it's a no-go area. But it's the ignorance, I guess, that would have been the reason for it. That they would there was no education around it, or it was just ignorance. And she, from my understanding, Lucy would have come from a very traditional, old-fashioned family. So her parents probably told her the same shit, without explaining. which is like today, that's where prejudice comes from, like ignorance and people just
It's
talking
so
shit
true.
and carrying it down, generation to generation, never explaining or teaching or opening eyes about anything. But yeah, it's hard to play a character that secretly has these kinds of prejudices, but for the time, I don't think she could have been without it. Sadly.
True. Well, we get a big scene with you and Bill, and Bill's collector. The first time. No, this isn't the first time Lucy is kind of known of Bill's gambling habits or anything like that. And of course, you know nothing of that's going on at the time. But this does become an aberrant, a big problem for Bill
Yeah.
and the family moving forward. How do you get into that headspace? And I know I'm kind of jumping ahead of season, but how do you get into that headspace of trying to balance on whether you stay with your family to try to help your husband or do what you feel is right for your kids and just get them the hell out of there because of all the debt he's incurred and the violence brought upon the house?
Yeah, I think again I was leaning on moms and what my mom would have done, or like my grandmother would have done for their children. I think there's got to be a kid's first. It's sad and heartbreaking, but I just tried to think about realistically, practically. You take your children away from danger. You take them out of the way. Your love you can deal with separately, sadly, but your children you have to deal with directly.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to just think of it in that way, because I can't, when people come into your space and affect your family and risk safety, I think you just got to take them out of the zone, But it's so sad because it's this weakness in the man she loves so much. Like, it's heartbreaking, but he's human, but he just takes a step too far.
Exactly. But he does care about his family. We see that. He has Lee go and house sit for you in this episode, and you guys have a beautiful moment here. We're going to play it right here, and I'll get your reaction about the scene once it's over.
Okay.
This is the part where you tell me what you're doing on my porch with a shotgun.
Oh, it's just a precaution. Bill and I have been chasing after some pretty nasty men. He asked if I'd keep an eye while he worked late.
I like you, Lee. You're sweet. You've got good manners.
Thank you.
But you're going to have to work on the lying.
Ma'am.
Stick with Bill. I'm sure you'll get the hang of it.
Thank you for the sandwich. It's delicious.
See? You're getting better already.
So before we get into the scene, there's something I want to get to. Right before you turn from him the first time, before he mentions the food, as you turn away, you could see it in your eyes. You're still acting at that point, and I pick up on this stuff a lot. I don't know why, but to me, that's the trick. And I obviously credit you. I credit the casting directors to be able to find so many good actors on the show who continue acting once the lines are over. And that, like, it's something, because you could see in your eyes, just as you're telling them, you know what, stick with Bill. You learn to be a better liar, sort of thing. And as you turn away, you could see it in your eyes that you kind of hate yourself for saying it, but you're like, this is if you're going to survive here, this is what you have to do, Lee. Am I reading too much into this, or was that some of the emotions you were going through there?
Yeah, I think for me, the most exciting part often with acting is the stuff in between the text. In between the lines is when so much action is happening, and it's that whole game that then happens between actors. That's the fun. The play between you comes in between, because what you're saying is very rarely what you mean. Often, especially in high drama, that's where the tension lies. So yeah, I was very much about that. And with each of the directors that we worked with actually on both seasons, it's very much, they all emphasize that kind of level of tension and commitment between things that keeps it exciting. It's really fun to do.
That's great. Well, with Matt, when he gets to that scene and he's looking for that emotional spot, he just takes his shirt off and shows his abs off. That's what he does.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, perfect. I mean, who wouldn't? Come on.
Hey, come on now. How dare we
How dare we?
My personal
Your beautiful
shit out there.
triceps.
Oh yes. I actually did want to point out a really interesting thing about that scene, which really holds, a true testament to the two of you guys' talents and chemistry that worked clearly both on and off set. Was that the way that you approached it was very direct and condescending and kind of I don't give a fuck type of attitude, and he really and he approached it with this calm, very polite demeanor, and these contrasting elements and attitudes and moods that you both kind of hit that dialogue with, and that it still was almost perfectly balanced. Was that is some good shit right there. I was like, that's fantastic how that worked.
Oh, that's exciting. We can credit our director for that. I think David Petrarca directed this episode. We can credit him for that.
Well, you did it, so you killed that shit.
Chu is an actor. He's all about just giving the credit all to the actors.
No, I give credit to everybody. I give credit to everybody, but definitely when, because you're given this, you're given our the dialogue and the kind of tone, but when it's really up to it, it's actors' choice on how they want to approach it. So for the fact that you boggle this in your head, and there's probably 1.5 million times ways that you can interpret just 2 sentences, but then to go with whatever your gut feeling is, or maybe go out of your comfort zone and to hit the marks, and it's just oof. Oh, this shit is beautiful.
But I think it's so much about feeling the environment on set as well. And that's why this team was just so amazing. If you don't feel safe to play and you don't feel comfortable and really relaxed with the people you're working with, it's so hard to know what the right choice is or feel it naturally. And I think that's where this was such a special set environment, because you felt like you could play and fuck it up and try it again and mix it around a bit, which is it's very rare. There can be huge pressure and tension on set, especially when you're running into nights. And this had a wonderful, relaxed feel, which I think is everything.
I was gonna say, did you feel like you had more wiggle room to play with your characters, traits, rather than maybe some sets where it's very closed in and you only can really go outside of the parameters just a tad bit?
Yeah, we were encouraged to ask questions and chat to directors and produce it. Everyone was very open. And if there was a big issue, if there was some lines that were absolutely out of character or something, we could say, listen, I really don't think Lucy would do that, or it was open, which is a real, such
that's
a
beautiful.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of people say that JT's great for coming to him and being yo, I don't know if my character would say this, or can we try to do this with my character? And JT just being so receptive. Jonathan Tropper, for people that don't know, but you should know, because in my opinion, best showrunner on television. I've yet to see. I've always been an Aaron Sorkin guy until I found Jonathan Tropper. Banshee and Warrior, he's 2 for 2 for me.
He's too cool, and just so casual about it. He took the pressure away from it, so you could just in a relaxed way ask a question and chat to you. There was no ego around it. There was no pressure around it. It was just an open, equal working relationship, which I think is what it should be. It was really cool.
It's amazing. I've heard that collaboration with the whole crew, even the design teams for clothes. This is not comfortable for me to fight with this, so they were all very open about everything.
Totally. Yeah, it was amazing. We could suggest things, or would I like a detail, or what do you think? And so we built the characters together, as opposed to just having to fit into something and fit in a little square of a character according to someone else. It was very much a joint thing.
That's awesome.
Now, to bring it back to the episode a bit, after you had spoken with Lee there, we find out that Bill had gone to go kind of take care of his debt, or find a way to kind of take care of his debt. And he goes to visit Leary over at the Banshee. Speaking of Banshee, this is a guy I don't know if I want to ever ask a favor of. Because I know he'll come through with it, and then I'm going to owe him. And Larry is not the guy you want to owe. And you can barely see it here, but it was when he confronts the debtor or the collector. It's one of those scenes where everyone's just like, you're on the edge of your seat, going like, this is about to go down right now. And
it made me sweat.
Yeah, and when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, there's no way Larry's gonna lose a fight to anybody. And this guy holds his own for a lot of the fight. And it kind of made me worried a little bit until, of course, the end where Larry gets the better. Now, we think that's it. We think that he's going to be let go. But Larry tells Bill he's got to finish things. And Bill goes pretty medieval. This is going to be another dark picture, but this is a bit of Bill in the dark there.
Look at that rage.
Pure rage and just nothing but blood and brain splatter, I would say, at that point. At this point, has Bill gone to the spot where he can't come back? I'll ask you first, Rebecca.
Oh, I think he's desperate. You can see him crying after that. I think he didn't think he would come to this end, to, the extreme like that. And he was on desperation. He just, was out of way. And I don't think he was happy or, calm about that, like Larry is. Like, it was just another day. I think Bill, he passed through a lot of suffering through this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely he's going through some PTSD there. Matt, what did you think after watching that kind of finish him moment?
Finish him. He I can't judge the man, honestly. Those were extreme circumstances, and it was kind of almost like this primal attitude, and it was either do this or else. And I'm pretty sure it not even just Bill's character, but you can put that on any one of us. And if it was like some life or death thing, whether it was like, say, ourselves or family or friends or somebody that we actually care about, and it was either that person or one of them or me, sorry, that motherfucker is gone. Like, so I couldn't even judge him, and I can't even judge the man for, hiding away and breaking down and crying and not seeing like Emily see his character, like be vulnerable, because that's, for men, it's hard to be vulnerable, and to
as much as people want to say that they want to see men cry and stuff like that, it's not one of those things that we still as men still get told that, it's not a manly thing. And, it might knock us down a little bit in certain, like if we're married or have a girlfriend, it might knock us down in their eyes. And
man, fuck that. I'll cry and you can kiss my ass if you don't like it. That's it.
Oh my God.
I don't care.
I'm the guy that cries at everything. Like, I'm the notorious crier. I'm the sympathy crier. When somebody else is crying, I'm crying too. Although it's not the same when people puke, so I don't know.
Wait,
not
what?
As fun as the crying thing, but
well, I know that just went to a weird spot. So, Emily, Bill comes back to the home after this huge ordeal, and just you're trying to comfort him and console him, and of course he's not having any of it. What are you thinking as an actress and as Lucy? What is Lucy thinking at this point as she's kind of been shut out? She knows something's wrong.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard. I think it just like can feel her heart break into a million pieces, because when your partner is lying to you, it's the greatest betrayal, I think, for anyone. We all know that in any relationship, like when someone is betraying you and someone close to you is not telling the truth, it's like worse than anything. My heart breaks when Bill cries and has to be quiet and tries to shut himself up, from like properly breaking down. It's complete, like it's like a punch in the stomach to me. It's heartbreaking. But I think there's also a lot of anger because he's fucking lying. It's bullshit. Like,
All
what's
he
going on,
does.
you know? And you put the family at risk, you know? So, like, there's that as well. I think it's a mixture between anger and just betrayal and heartbreak. And you want to comfort someone, but, you know, when she finds out
You also
what
want to
he did.
slap him too.
Yeah. Hug, smack, squeeze, hug, smack.
See, you've got the parenting down perfect.
Yay.
Hug, smack, repeat.
That's me as a parent. No, I'm kidding. Don't all of a sudden child services are here. Everybody keeps talking about this scene, and it was some great acting. And I mean, Kieran went to some really deep spots to get to this. Folks, for you've heard them talk about it. I'm going to put it up here for you so you can see it for yourself.
That shit hit home for me.
Man,
I've actually been in similar situations like that. Not where I just, mauled somebody's head off, but like, so like that shit is, I was like, oh, I know that vibe. That sucks.
You see it. You see him struggling with it. Like that point where he's like, okay, I got it together. And he looks at the door and then he's like, oh, I don't got it. And then break down yet again. Like he went to some
shame. Yeah.
I think this final thing is like you were saying that boys don't cry, can't cry, and he has to stuck with this pain alone most of times, and sometimes it's what brings some kind of dysfunction in our society because all men has to struggle to some things alone. He can't speak, like he can't feel or look weak, and he has to stuck with themselves, so it's quite hard.
Yeah, it's this episode was a roller coaster episode, honestly, starting off with the parade to the explosion to that kick-ass fight scene with the Feng Hai, to just the anger you get from Buckley and the mayor and the guy running for president, to Leary, that fight, and Bill having to finish the guy off, and Emily, the shit you have to deal with in this episode as well.
Lucy's life.
Lucy's life. Oh my Lord. What a roller coaster episode. I think this was the first episode where I actually ran the gambit of emotions from start to finish. Each other episode, there felt like there was the first episode was just nothing but action and in your face, and then the second episode was kind of a cool down episode, and third was up again, and then fourth was a bit down, but this one it had it all, and you were a huge part of that as well, Emily. Now, Emily, now that we've kind of recapped the show, tell us a little bit about yourself. What can people find you on? What other work have you done that you're most proud of, but don't watch yourself doing?
Well, actually, 2019 was a really fun year because straight after that, then season 2, I got to do Vagrant Queen, which was really fun. And then I learned all about prosthetics. Yeah, I've been busy. I usually do a lot of theater in a year as well. I try and do, like, if I can, like a film and a series and a theater show in a year. And then I write children's books as well. Those are like things that I spend most of my time doing. Yeah, I love it so much. It's such a nice escape from everything. The kids' book, it's totally different kind of pressure and a totally different kind of world. So yeah, if I'm not on set or on stage, I'm generally writing books, and then we go to schools and we talk to school. We can't now, obviously, with COVID, but that will come back eventually. And then we talk about the books and we talk about literacy, and yeah, it's like this whole other world that I'm a part of, which I love.
That's so fucking cool. That is all. How many books do you have written?
3 published, and then there's a few more coming out. I work with an amazing publishing house called Imaginary House at the moment.
Oh, you got to promote them. Say the name.
Yeah.
Say the name of the title.
Imaginary House. They're super cool. Yeah, and our books are now like all over. We've got ones in Turkey and ones in China and Japan. We're slowly like spreading, which is great. But mainly I get to like hang out with kids who are like the toughest audiences ever, but the greatest audiences. Like their imaginations just inspire me hugely. So that's very exciting.
That is amazing. So you do a little bit of everything, and everything that you do is shit that you love.
I try to, yes. I hope it doesn't stop. COVID gave me a huge fright because I couldn't do most of it last year.
So you do theater, you do film, you do TV. Do you do musicals as well?
No, I cannot sing and I cannot dance. So yeah, no, that I.
So no
I just
EGOT in your
try-
future.
yeah. I cannot do those things. I do after some wine, and my husband would prefer I don't. But yeah, no. Sadly, I admire musical theatre hugely, but I'm not very great at it. But I do more the straight theatre kind.
To me, like I'm a theater guy. I grew up doing theater, and to me, I've done movies, I've done TV. To me, there's nothing better than being on stage, like losing yourself in a role in front of. When you do, I did this play called "Someone to Watch Over Me" about these 3 prisoners in Lebanon, and I have this big send off, and hearing people in the audience cry was the only thing that broke me from, like, because sometimes when you're in a role, and I try to tell people this, and it doesn't happen in TV and film. I've never experienced it, but on stage, you lose yourself in that actual character. Like when you exit stage left, stage right, you're still that character. Like and to me, that's just the best feeling in the world. I've never known a better feeling than being on stage, honestly.
I agree. You feel like you're flying for a while, you know? You fly and then you land.
So cool. But movies is where the money is.
Yeah, movies are okay, you know. No.
Yeah, I mean, they're all right. They're all right. Who wants to be that Ryan Reynolds guy anyways?
I feel like I'm still learning so much about TV and film. That's like, because I mainly did theatre before. In the last couple of years, I've been doing more film stuff. So I feel like there's still so much to learn. So film is pretty exciting too.
That's awesome. Matt, Rebecca, do either of you have any follow-up questions before we go?
Well, Frank wanted to ask something for Emily. He's not here today. He was thinking of all of the characters quite changed the sets. Sometimes they moved around, the story and the sets. And you were mainly in your house, Lucy's house. So how do you feel about it? He wanted to ask you this. How was for you to stay in the same, backlot all the time?
I actually loved it because it became like our house. Like we really got to know every little part of it, every cup and every plate. We knew where it was and where it belonged. And I found myself like tidying up if things had to move around after a while. Like it was actually quite special. And I had a little cry when we wrapped, obviously, season 2. And I missed our house because it was just so familiar and warm. And yeah, I found it actually very special. And then the thought of it like being knocked down now breaks my heart.
Very sad.
Sorry. Well, they can rebuild it for season 3. No, I don't know where it is now, but
you heard that here. He said for season 3. There's a season 3 coming. No, I'm just totally kidding. You heard it here first. No, I knew we'd get a Tom Holland moment out of you. Chua. Oh, sorry, Rebecca. Go ahead.
No, I just shared the link for our fund for season 3.
Okay. Oh,
we got an online question.
I have a question for Emily. When you were on set, what gets you into character? When did you cease being Emily? Was it on set or once you were in costume?
That's a good question.
Good question. Thanks, Nate.
I think I'm always Emily. Like I don't think on film, especially, that I ever like fully disappear in a way, because there's just so many technicalities in film and marks to hit and stuff, I suppose. And maybe it's also because I'm relatively new to it in a way. but I'm very, what do you call it? Like touch is big for me. So like Lucy had like an apron, and I always put like tissues, broken up tissues inside it. So I knew like it's often just before the take. Actually, I like to put my hand in the pocket and feel the tissues, and then I knew. I don't know. It just felt like a very Lucy thing to do, and then it helps me get into the zone quite quickly. So it's often touch and smell for me. I had the same deodorant I wore every time I was on set as Lucy, so that I could smell it and know like I'm back in the kitchen, back with my babies. Yeah, it's a sensory thing, whatever, for me more than anything. And then you can dip in and out of it more easily as well.
Awesome. Sure.
I have a couple rapid fire, but before I get to that hat rack behind you, where did you get that?
Right?
That thing looks amazing. I've been staring at that like on and off for like the entire interview.
I got it when I was about 12 years
You need a
old.
date.
My mom bought it for me in Johannesburg. There was this cool market that no longer exists, and a local artist was making them. I've had it. I move with it everywhere my husband and I go. I take it.
That thing is so damn cool. I love that.
Cool.
Chua, you're focusing on that so much. You need to get a date, buddy. We need to get to a date.
Damn it, Zeus! You know I didn't mean like that. I was like, yo, that's some cool shit. I was like, what? I was like, I need to find out what that is, man. That was cool as hell. All right, so I got a couple rapid fires. Let's see. Number one, name your biggest pet peeve.
Ooh, arrogance. People who just think they're so fucking cool. I want to punch them. Yeah, but
fair.
Yeah.
Question number two, app on your phone you're always on.
Oh, I just started learning Portuguese, so now I'm always on,
Really?
Duolingo. Oi, tudo bem?
Tudo bem, muito bom.
I'm not a beginner. So I'm on that a lot. But
Okay.
I'm very beginner, any day.
Let's see. Question number three. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, I hate karaoke because, as I said, I don't really sing very well, so I don't have one. I've avoided karaoke my whole life.
Okay, let me rephrase. If you had enough wine, what would your karaoke song be?
It's pressure. Probably like, maybe like Let the Sunshine In.
Okay. Ooh, all right. I like that. I like that. Number four, who would narrate your life?
Ooh, no, this is maybe Emma Thompson.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
I love her.
That's a really good one. Ooh, that would be nice. And finally, what would, if you had a soundtrack to your life, name a few artists that would be on it.
Oh, this is tough and exciting. Maybe I love at the moment I'm loving the Blind Boys of Alabama, and then there would be maybe Freshly Ground, a South African band that I would love, and then like all old school jazz. I have a whole jazz section. Billie Holiday would be in there. Bob Marley, totally, for like a big chunk. Love Bob Marley so much. And then there's a Brazilian band, Mascavo. I don't know if they're still going. When I was younger, I used to listen to them, and I would include them.
Good.
I love them.
I'm digging it.
I think I got one more. How about we'll do this because nobody actually does this live. Name 3 positive things about yourself.
Oh.
About myself.
About yourself.
Positive. Does like having a really cool family count?
Yes.
Because I have like the coolest fucking family ever.
Oh yeah. So that's one.
Obviously, I love my husband. He's fucking amazing too. That's like a unit.
Okay.
That's one. Number 2, I think I'm generally quite positive as a person. I try and look on the brighter side of stuff. I think that I try to wake up in the morning and say today will be a good day.
Okay.
Generally. And I am like quite a nerd. I'm quite hardworking. So I'm going to give that to myself. Like I work hard.
Hey, and there you have it. The little deep dive on Emily Child. Hey.
One more for you.
Oh, we got one more.
Okay.
When you watched the show post-production, were you ever surprised by a scene? Did it translate differently than you imagined? It's kind of, Matt, you kind of asked something like that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think apart to build on what I was saying earlier, that and also just I'm amazed that when I do skim some of the scenes that I was in or whatever, if I have to for like a show reel or something, I am amazed at how the camera can pick up a thought that I remember having, and then you can see the thought. Like it is amazing to me, just the medium of film, like how whatever you think it can see.
And it's almost
And
like time travel.
Yeah,
When you
no,
think
it
about
is, because you can remember. I can remember like the process on the day or whatever, and then it's like, oh my god, I can actually the camera got that. As long as it's not like thinking about lunch or something when you should be thinking about the scene. I don't want it to pick that up.
Oh, that's a damn good thought, though. Yo,
All right. Well, I will finish you off with my questions that I usually ask. I haven't asked any of the actors we've had on this show because I asked them on other podcasts I've done with them. But Emily, because you're a newbie,
Yay.
I'm going to give you my genie wish. Now, these are conditional wishes, okay? So
Okay.
there's 2 only, and they have to be based on what I ask. I'm sorry.
Okay.
If you could ever, if I could snap my finger and you could be acting opposite anyone in history, present, alive, or dead, who would it be?
Ooh.
I know she wasn't an actor, but she's my favorite writer, Dorothy Parker. If she just decided to casually act for in a series or something, I would pick her. I'm such a huge fan.
That's that one. You blew my mind with that one. Now, second genie question. Snap my finger, and I can cast you in any movie franchise in the world. What is it? And if you know what the franchise is, do you have a specific character you would want to play?
Okay, so I'm a sucker for all period dramas. Like I watch all the Jane Austens. If I could be in one of those, like if Jane Austen could just magically write a new one, or one of the greats, yeah, I would be in one of those period dramas. It's my jam. I watched so many of them.
That's amazing. That is a true thespian right there. That's a thespian answer. That's great. I want to say thank you so much, though, Emily, for coming on and doing this show here with us and joining our round of applause
for having me.
Lucy O'Hara. Emily, how can folks find you on social media?
I'm on Instagram. I'm a bit of a granny, as I've told you, on technology, but I'm getting better. But I'm on Instagram and Facebook. It's Emily Child, I think, or Emily Child 5. And then I'm on Twitter. I don't post a lot, but I'm going to be posting more. I'm trying to be better. I'm told it's bad etiquette to only look at other people's stuff and not post. So I'm going to try and up my game.
That means TikTok's for you, where you can just watch and don't have to worry about posting anything.
I think that's what I need to
get
into.
No, that is a trap. Don't do that. Don't listen to it. No.
You and I are doing a TikTok later.
Wait, what? No. I'm saying no to that too.
Get into Warrior group on Facebook.
That's it. We'll do the Warrior TikTok. Well, everybody, this has been an absolute blast. Episode 6, Season 1, Warrior. Folks, if you haven't watched the show, what are you doing watching this recap? But honestly, go out, show some support, go to HBO, let them know, tell everybody you know. This is an important show, especially for everything that's happening in the world right now. Warrior is needed and so fantastic. Again, Emily Child, thank you so much for being with us. Rebecca Nietzsche.
Thanks for having me.
Rebecca Nietzsche, always a pleasure. And my boy, Matt Chua.
Hey.
You gotta hit us one time with Sub-Zero.
Oh, absolutely. Sub-Zero wins.
And then, of course, it's not a complete Hop Wei show without. For everybody here, I'm your host, Zeus, and this has been another edition of the Hop This Wei Show. Peace.